Your boy's back. Al King back on that again with another banger for y'all's. Out here today, there y'all's tonight, but y'all. Guys, I gotta talk about a few articles I have found today. And guys, this this project is no longer a far-fetched idea. Like, no more. Like, officially, guys, real talk. And it's so crazy to me because I never thought I would ever see a project like this potentially happen in my lifetime. But guys, we gotta talk about a potential film that could actually happen. Marvel versus DC crossover. This is honestly no longer far-fetched anymore, and I'm about to show y'all proof right now. So I recently found a few articles recently today. The first one we're gonna check out is, guys, guess what? Our boy James Gunn has actually teased that he wants a crossover between Superman versus Spider-Man. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know. I mean, Superman would just demolish him, in my opinion. But at the same time, like I ain't gonna lie, Spider-Man is also very, very strong. Like even the Hulk, like in the comics, he pointed out how strong it was. That like he took on aliens. So I mean, Spider-Man is a very powerful character, like definitely not to be underestimated whatsoever. But against Superman, I'm not entirely sure, but it is hard to say. I mean, it's definitely possible it'll be a very good fight, but I mean, one laser hit and he's finished. But again, he does have the freaking spider senses. But anyway, not to go into deep with that, talking about Superman versus Spider-Man, but James Gunn wants to actually make this happen. Like, he really want to like get these two to cross over. A possibility. He was in an interview. And yeah, guys, this is confirmed on, this article right here, Superhero Hype. And yeah, guys, now, real quick, I haven't seen the new Superman. I don't know how good it is. I'm going to see it next week. Just been a very, very busy week for me. Trying to do so much different things right now. So next week I will check out the new Superman. And hey, if we happen to get this official first crossover film, Superman versus Spider-Man, y'all, I mean, I don't know how I'm gonna feel about it. I really don't know how I would personally feel about it. Like, seriously. Excuse me, but it's just because like there's so many characters with DC, so many other characters with Marvel that we just haven't got to see yet. When are we gonna get a blue Marvel? Into the Marvel universe. When are we gonna get Static Shock? A live action film. It's just so many characters that just needs to be introduced. Like it's so much you can do with just both of these two, but to just right now collide them and make a film like this, I mean, it's like, it would definitely be a good cash grab. But I mean, come on, guys, like, this is not, I can see if superhero movies were in a good state in terms of writing and like still had that strong fan base, like, but now it's like, bro, like the fan base and superheroes, like films and stuff, like, it's really going down over the years. So until that comes back up, I don't think this is a smart idea. Would it be a good cash grab? Would it make a lot of money? Superman versus Spider-Man, 1000%. Oh yeah, absolutely. Now, I gotta go over another article too that I'm about to throw up here. And this article over here is basically Deadpool and Batman. Let me try to get it. Here we go. Yeah. Deadpool, Deadpool versus Batman, something like that. But yeah, so that's gonna be one of the first crossover comics in 22 years, Marvel and DC. So, hey guys, I mean, we're living in some interesting times right now. Like, seeing comics like Deadpool and Batman team up, DC, Marvel teaming up with comics now, we might just get a multiverse, DC versus Marvel film. That might just happen down the line. And would it be good? It really just depends on who directing it and how much creativity and power that the directors have, the actors have to, really have fun with this, but bring us something really fresh and really build this thing up. Like it's really gonna have to be something that you just gonna have to build up on both sides. And it's gonna be tough because with DC, like DC doesn't really have a whole lot of like what's the word I'm looking for? Their films aren't as good as they used to be. Because once we got out of the Dark Knight trilogy, the Batman, I guess you can say, all we had pretty recently was the Joker, but then the second one was whack. The first Suicide Squad, I had fun with that. And also the Batman. I definitely enjoyed our recent Batman movie. I haven't watched the new Superman yet, but compared to Marvel just have so much more quantity compared to DC. I feel like DC wins when it comes down to animation. Like the old Static Shock TV show. Like I ain't gonna lie, I love that show. Like animation wise, I feel like DC might have the upper hand. But even then, when I look at Marvel, they got the Spectacular Spider-Man. I mean, that's like one of the best Spider-Man adaptations I think I ever seen, in terms of Peter Parker. That's up there. Might even be a bit better than a lot of the live action films, honestly. And then you got also Spider-Man Miles Morales, Across the Spider-Verse and all that. That's another dang on good one as well. So, but yeah, it's just like, I feel like DC, they need to really work themselves up before they do something like this. There's a lot of characters in DC that, hasn't even got the spotlight yet. And you already want to go make a, potentially leading up to a Marvel versus DC film. Because this is basically what all this is hinting off. For us to get a crossover comic in 22 years with Marvel and DC, and James Gunn is out here hinting, hey, by the way, you know what? This will be pretty epic. And if I can do it right, Superman versus Spider-Man, this will be pretty cool. And guess what? It's going to lead to other stuff. Other characters are going to pop up. Like it's not going to be a solo Superman versus Spider-Man movie. Like absolutely not. But honestly, I just don't think Superman versus Spider-Man, like that type of film, should even be in the same sentence, in my personal opinion. Superman's an awesome character, but he just haven't really been done right in the films over the years. Other than Man of Steel, that was probably the last good like film that I was like, wow, when it come down to Superman. But if we're talking about comics, he's outstanding. Like there's so many comics, and then you got Absolute Superman. Like I would love to see that turn into live action. But in my opinion, Spider-Man in general has already reached such a threshold in mainstream. Not to say Superman has it, but I think popularity and lore, I think a lot more people are so much more familiar with Spider-Man and it got a lot more respect for Spider-Man compared to Superman. Superman hasn't really reached that threshold yet, in my personal opinion, and it's crazy because there's so many good comics of Superman. Same thing with Spider-Man, but I feel like Spider-Man, he gets the most love. That's one of the biggest heroes right there. Superman, he's up there too, but they just haven't. I don't think Hollywood hasn't hit that threshold like the same with Spider-Man. Spider-Man is in a totally different league in terms of popularity, my personal opinion. So for something like that to happen, I don't know, guys, but what do you guys think? Would you guys like to see a crossover between Marvel versus DC? Do y'all think this would be an interesting idea? Has James Gunn lost his mind, or is he on to something? Is this the future? Y'all let me know. But it is your boy Al King. Like and subscribe, share. I'll be catching you guys on the next one.
I possess all your dreams. A demon preys on the weak. You better watch out for me. Mistakes were